it's all unknowing. Unknowing is what there is. Just unknowing. It's a word. And there isn't any unknowing. Unknowing doesn't mean anything. There's not something called unknowing. This is another one of these meaningless words. There is no unknowing, well, because there isn't anything. So, in this kind of non-dual talk, we can always end up saying, well, there's no non-duality, there's no unknowing, there's no person, there's no experience, there isn't anything. It's kind of the point. Because there's just everything. You can't find anything in everything. You can, with language, you can find anything in everything. You can find anything that you can have a word for in this. But none of that exists, is the point. The basic communication is there's just this, there's nothing else, and just this is nothing. So that gets turned into unknowing. So there's just unknowing. So I don't know a way to say that. But it's also a response to this me person. Well, the person is knowing. That's what the person is. The person is knowing my experience. You could say it's a kind of experience of knowing. And there's a story that comes out of that. So what is here because it's known. And because it's known, there's a person who knows. And because this whole knowing function is going on. That's what the person is, that's what experience is, that's what so-called me is. It's just this, you could call it activity or process or going on of knowing. This reality is shown up as this business of knowing going on. And then and the knower is the one who knows. So the knower is the one who is knowing. And then the non-duality communication is saying, that's not happening. There is no such person, and there is no knowing. There's unknowing. So there's that word, unknowing, comes in. Again, it's just as a response to this quality of knowing that seems to produce a kind of experience, a story of something happening, and a one who it's happening to. Me. Me is my knowing of what the story is, what's going on to me and for me, about me, and about my experience, my life. Everything I know about that. So who's the I that knows? Well, it's all the same thing. It's just this knowing. It's this phenomenon that doesn't exist. It's the funny thing. It's not anything. It's called an illusion or a dream or just a kind of imagination showing up as knowing. How can that happen? What does that even mean? Who knows? But this is what it is. And this knowing creates a reality. The reality of knowing. could say reality is what's known. And the knower is in there, keeping it all up. Of course, it can't be found if you look for the knower, right? Gone. Knower's never been seen. There's never been any evidence left behind. The knower is completely absent in the knowing. But the knowing supports this ghost of a knower. And it's called me. Even has a name. I call it Dan. If that's... Well, it's the same. I can call it my name. But that one, the knower, is the same one, no matter what name it's called by. There aren't, 20 different knowers or 8 billion. There's just the knowing, this weird phenomenon. Well, what is it? It's just an instituting of separation, kind of dividing experience into 2 parts, a knower and everything that's known. And that's knowing. So what comes out of that, which seems to be a story of life happening, seems to be experience, seems to have all kinds of meaning, all kinds of different pieces to it. Endless, but always that knower in the center of it. So that knower is knowing. Or we just say the whole thing is just this knowing, this phenomenon of knowing that creates or is this experience. And the experience is of separateness or separation, duality. That's the character of it. That's the stuff of it. So we say, well, yeah, that knowing shows up, but it shows up without ever being here. It shows up as a story, as an illusion, as a kind of a pretense of something, I don't know. But it doesn't actually occur. It doesn't actually have any life. It doesn't actually exist. So I said, it's a ghost, a form with no substance to it. It's just a form. And there's no one in it. There's no one in it. What it is made out of knowing, and there is no knowing. There's nothing known here. What simply is, as what is, isn't known. It's not a matter of knowing. It's not a matter of one thing seeing something else and knowing it. Knowing what it means, knowing how it works, knowing what it's good for, knowing everything about it. Knowing where it's going, knowing where the story is going, knowing what the story is. So there isn't any of that. There actually isn't a story. That's the point. Story is part of knowing. Story is what's known by the knower. And of course, the knower is part of the story also. But this unknowing, it's just, again, there is no unknowing, it's just a word, but it refers to it's a response to this arising form of the knower who's busy knowing, who's involved in this knowing phenomenon, my life, my experience, it isn't anywhere. What is only here is unknowing, then, which again is just a word to refer to the fact that the story that was told about what's here is, a tall tale, a rumor, a assumption. It's a false reality, right? And that's it.